Hey guys, today we're going to do the overview of the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo UX8402. So I got this laptop as kind of an upgrade over my current Asus Zenbook Duo. And yeah, this is just pretty much a strict upgrade in almost every way. It's got an OLED display and my current Zenbook Duo does not. 14.5-inch display, so I like the 16:10 aspect ratio of this display better, and doesn't even weigh that much more. And it's just as portable, and it's got a much more powerful GPU and processor as well. So I figured this was just a pretty nice straight up upgrade over my current Asus Zenbook Duo. So let's go over the specs here. It's got a 14.5-inch 2880 by 1800, that's 3K OLED display. 16:10 aspect ratio, 0.2 millisecond response time, 120 hertz refresh rate, and it's got 400 nits, but it's also got HDR as well, which can go up to 550 nits with HDR. Peak brightness, 100% DCI-P3 color gamut, 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, display HDR True Black 500. Yeah, it's got all the great stuff that you guys would expect from OLED displays. 1 billion colors, Pantone verified or validated. So all the benefits of OLED displays, right? It's got very deep blacks, high contrast ratio, vivid colors. So just the OLED display alone is a huge upgrade over my Asus Zenbook Duo. Of course, the Pro Duo series that Asus has had for the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, the Pro series have always had OLED displays. Usually they've been quite expensive, and I've always wanted to get a Pro Duo. It's just that the cost was always very high. But with this latest recent versions of the Asus Pro Duo, it has gone down in price. So usually, like the previous versions of the Pro Duo, I think were over like $2,000 or something. This one I got for $1,300, which is much more reasonable. That's actually about the same price I paid for the Asus Zenbook Duo, the non-Pro version. So yeah, now the Pro Duo, you can find the recent versions have come down in price. So that gives me a chance to get them. I've always wanted to get a Pro Duo because they have the OLED displays and a better GPU and everything. So this particular model I got for $1,300. It comes with Core i7-12700H CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD storage, and an RTX 3050 Ti GPU. So all that is pretty decent upgrades over my current Asus Zenbook Duo. I have a skin on this one right now, just because I always like to put like skins on my laptops. Just makes it look more unique. Plus with Asus laptops especially, like this one, it just has like a very plain looking lid and just has like the Asus logo right here, and it's a fingerprint magnet. So with the Zenbooks, I always find that Asus, like the lids are always like fingerprint magnets, and it's better just to put a skin on it anyways. Yeah, otherwise you'll just be seeing a bunch of fingerprints on it. So yeah, I always get my skins from Decorus. I think they always make some pretty nice looking skins. So we can compare it to my Asus Zenbook Duo right now, which I also put a Decorus skin on. Yeah, this one is from 2021. It's the UX482EG designation, which means the EG is the one that comes with the NVIDIA GeForce MX450 graphics. So this one does have dedicated graphics too. It's just not as good as the one on the Pro Duo. The Pro Duo has a 3050 Ti, which is a lot more powerful than the MX450. So yeah, we can compare it to the UX4802. The dimensions are actually pretty similar. So I find that the newer one, the Pro Duo, this one has more of a less of a taper, I would say. The Zenbook Duo from 2021, it has more of a taper here. So you can see that the thickness is pretty similar between the two, which is a win for the Pro Duo because the Pro Duo is actually more powerful. So it's more powerful, but overall the dimensions are actually quite similar and the thickness is similar. So you guys can see that was the side and the front, the other side, and the backs. Yeah, so the Zenbook Duo had more of a taper, yeah, the Pro Duo is just more of a flatter type of profile, and that's fine because yeah, I don't mind that. I actually don't really care for the taper too much, but yeah, definitely you can see that the design of the Zenbook Duo versus the Pro Duo, yeah, this one has more of a taper at the back and also more on the front little bit more of a slant. When it comes to the weight, it's pretty similar. The Zenbook Duo is about 3.5 pounds, I would say, and the Pro Duo is about 3.8 pounds. So they're both like, I would say okay. They're not like very light, but they're not very heavy either. They're just about average, I would say, for a notebook, and that's totally fine. I mean, if you're talking about this much power, then that's a win for the Pro Duo, because the Pro Duo has an OLED display and more power and everything. So the fact that it's only barely a little bit heavier than the Zenbook Duo, I think is a win for the Pro Duo. And compare the ports. So for the Zenbook Duo, you have the micro SD card slot, dedicated micro SD card slot here. You got a headphone microphone jack right there, USB-A port right there, full-size HDMI, and 2 USB-Cs, and that's pretty much it. And the front tapers so that you don't have any kind of ports there, because it's just this notebook is all about the tapering. So yeah, the Asus Zenbook Duo definitely is more of an edgy looking design. Definitely more tapering on the design of that. And we can look at the ports here on the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo as well. Pretty much similar. You got 2 USB-C ports right here. You got the indicator lights right there. You got 1 USB-A port right there. And then on the other side, you just have one headphone jack. That's or a headphone microphone combo jack, and that's pretty much it. There is nothing on the front again. Yeah, there's nothing. It does taper up on the front as well, just like the Zenbook Duo, although not quite as intense of a taper. But on the back, there's no tapering. So you see on the Zenbook Duo, you couldn't put anything on the back because it was tapered on the back as well. But on the Pro Duo, yep, it's a flat back, so you can put some ports on it. So yep, we got our full-size HDMI right here, and we got micro SD, and we got our DC charger, which, by the way, this is something, yeah, there's a barrel charger for the Pro Duo because it does need more power than the Zenbook Duo does. You'll notice that the Zenbook Duo does not have a barrel jack adapter because it just charges with USB-C. So you just use one of these USB-Cs for charging. Yeah, because this one is like a relatively lower power laptop. It just has a MX450 and it has a lower voltage CPU. Whereas this one has a 12700H CPU, which is not low voltage, and or ultra low voltage, I should say. And yeah, this has a 3050 Ti in it, so it does need to consume more power. Thus, I guess, I mean, I'm actually not sure if you can charge with the USB-C, but I'm guessing the barrel charger is going to be the way to go here for this laptop because it does need to consume more power. So yeah, between this one, the Pro Duo, and the older Zenbook Duo that I have, it's pretty similar in terms of external specs. So yeah, they're roughly the same dimensions and similar thickness. The Zenbook Pro Duo weighs a little bit more, but they're both under 4 pounds, so they weigh pretty similar as well. Pretty much the same in ports. The only difference is the Pro Duo has an extra AC adapter jack because it needs a bit more power than USB-C. That's really about it. The ports are pretty much the same. Dimensions, weight is pretty much the same. So really the upgrade here is the display and the internal specs. So yeah, let's take a look at the display, and you guys can see why they call it the Zenbook Duo, is it has dual displays here. That's, you know, one of the coolest things, well, it is the coolest thing about this laptop, and why I got the Zenbook Duo, the previous one. But the Pro version, really the major upgrade here is the 14.5-inch 2880 by 1800 OLED display with a 16:10 aspect ratio on top. And then on the bottom, you get a 12.7-inch 2880 by 864, also OLED display. So you get dual OLED displays here, and the screen is 16:10, which I like the aspect ratio a bit better than 16:9. So yeah, those are the main upgrades here. The keyboard is pretty much the same as on the Zenbook Duo, which is to say, it's a pretty okay keyboard. This is also the same keyboard you find on Zenbooks as well. So, I mean, you find it on the regular Zenbooks, I should say. You find this on the regular Zenbooks as well, and it's an okay keyboard. It's not like the best keyboard I've used or anything, but it's not bad either. You can definitely have a pretty comfortable typing experience on these with a decent amount of travel and feedback. The mouse pad, touchpad I should say, not mouse pad. The touchpad is moved around. So because this has two displays, right? This second display takes up half of the keyboard here. So the touchpad normally would be here on a laptop, would be kind of in the below the keyboard, right? So in the Zenbook Duo, they had to move it to beside the keyboard. Yeah, because that's how the layout is. So it's not ideal, not quite as good to use as a regular touchpad. I mean, there's a little bit less space here, but it's still usable, and you still get physical buttons here, which I like. A lot of touchpads, they don't even have physical buttons. They just you just have to click on the touchpad, which I don't like as much. It's a little bit more finicky, but having the physical left and right click is nice. So overall, this area is definitely smaller compared to like a normal size touchpad, but it's still usable. And I believe you can actually turn this into like a numpad if you want as well. So yeah, that's really the selling point of the Zenbook Duo series, is the fact that you have two displays, and on the Pro version you have two OLED displays, which is nice. And then you get the internal upgrades over the regular Zenbook Duo as well. So this one you get a more powerful CPU and a more powerful GPU too, which in this case is a RTX 3050 Ti. And that's a good upgrade for me, because I actually wanted to have a secondary gaming laptop. My main gaming laptop is the Alienware M15 and R5, I think. So yeah, that's my main one, but I also want to have a secondary gaming laptop. And well, the MX450 on the Zenbook Pro Duo isn't quite as good, so this one's obviously a lot better with the 3050 Ti. So anyways, that's pretty much it for the comparisons here. So we can turn them both on. You guys can see the power button is always right there. That's in the same place on both. Okay, so you guys can see that the display aspect ratio is a bit different, right? Because the Zenbook Duo that I had before, this one was the 16:9 aspect ratio, and the Zenbook Pro Duo is 16:10. So you can see the 16:10 one is a little bit taller, has a little bit more vertical space for scrolling and stuff. And another thing is, you guys notice that I just logged in automatically, right? That's because it uses the Windows Hello. So it doesn't have a fingerprint sensor to log in. Instead, it uses Windows Hello facial recognition to log in, which is fine. I would actually prefer to have a fingerprint sensor as well, but yeah, having that is also fine. Alright, so now I have the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo and the Asus Zenbook Duo side by side, so you guys can see more clearly the differences between these two. I also noticed that, well, not only is the main screen on the Zenbook Pro Duo, you know, it's got a 16:10 aspect ratio, so it's a little bit taller, but also the bottom screen pad plus screen is also a little bit taller as well. So yeah, it's like got a little bit more length to it, and the bezels are actually smaller on both these displays. So the Zenbook Duo, and granted this is a bit of an older computer, but the Zenbook Duo does have more noticeable bezels on the bottom here. As you guys can see, I even had to apply the skin here to the bottom of the main display, because there's a big enough chin that I can put there. This one doesn't even have a big enough chin where I can put like a sticker like that. Anyways, yeah, also, yeah, I did notice that the keyboard keys, I think that the Zenbook Pro Duo, the keys look a little bit bigger actually on average, so just a tiny bit bigger. It's a little bit interesting. And of course, the difference in power supplies. So this is the power supply for the Zenbook Pro Duo. This is the power supply for the Zenbook Duo. So you guys can see the difference there, right? Obviously, the Pro Duo needs a bit more power. It's got a more powerful computer CPU. It's got a more powerful GPU. So it's just overall more powerful computer. So it needs a bigger power supply. I mean, yeah, just the difference here in the power supplies. So yeah, and this one of course needs a barrel charger, not just a USB-C. Okay, so I have a YouTube video. It's actually a K-pop video I usually use for testing displays hooked up, so you guys can kind of see the differences, and also hear the differences as well, because I'm going to test out the speakers. Both of these use Harman Kardon's branded speakers, and I think they're actually generally pretty good. Like most laptop speakers are not that good. My HP Dragonfly Elite and the MacBook Pro and MacBook Air are kind of like exceptions because they're actually pretty good laptop speakers. But the Asus Zenbooks are not bad either. Zenbook Duos, I mean. So yeah, both of these use Harman Kardon branded speakers. First, I'm going to turn up the brightness on both of these laptops. So we're going to view them at full brightness, and I'm going to turn up the volume as well. I'm going to turn up the volume on the Duo and on the Pro Duo. For the first part, I'm going to just mute the volume here because obviously we only want to hear one at a time, right? So yeah, first part of the video, I'm going to have the speakers from the Zenbook Duo play, and then the second part of the video, I'll also have the Zenbook Pro Duo play the speakers. So I also noticed the keyboard backlight for the Zenbook Duo is turned up, so you can turn that up to full, and I'm going to turn up the keyboard backlight on the Pro Duo as well to full. Yeah, interesting. Seems like on the camera here, this one's lighting up more, but I think that's because the keyboard on this one, because of the slanted chassis on the Zenbook Duo, it's just tilted up a little bit higher than this keyboard here. So yeah, that's another thing to notice. Like this keyboard is tilted up a little bit higher than this one. So that's interesting. But yeah, both of them have the keyboard backlight set to full now too. Anyways, let's begin the video testing. This side IPS, this one side OLED. Obviously, you guys should be able to see a difference. All right. Again, brightness full for both of these laptops. And the sound you guys are hearing right now is coming from the Zenbook Duo. So that's coming from the Zenbook Duo speakers. Okay, I'm going to mute this laptop and unmute this one, okay? So then you're going to hear the Zenbook Pro Duo speakers. Big difference in speakers now. Get on the floor and show me some more. Let's go, stay this way. 서로 비추며 춤을 추고 있어. 내리 마지막인 것처럼. Stay this way. The difference in speakers is pretty big. They're both at full volume too. Oh man, okay. Actually pretty interesting. The difference in displays is not as big as I expected, to be honest, and that just shows you the quality of Asus's IPS displays. So yes, the OLED display is, you know, it's got better contrast, it's more vibrant and everything. Usually IPS displays compared side by side with OLED, the IPS is going to look a lot more washed out. In this case, it actually doesn't look that much more washed out, because Asus's IPS displays are already really good. Like these already have the Asus Zenbook Duo's display already has pretty good colors. The contrast and everything, it's definitely above average for an IPS display. Of course, the OLED display still looks better, but the difference is not as big as I thought with these two displays. Interesting. So, I mean, goes to show that Asus IPS displays are already really good. So yeah, of course, compared side by side, you can see that this one does look a little bit more washed out. The colors don't pop as much. The blacks are not as black. Of course, that's the advantages of OLED, but this display for an IPS display, I think this is one of the best looking IPS displays on the market. Like for an IPS display, like this is really, really good. Like it's actually closer than I expected, because when I'm comparing displays before, I remember when I was comparing, like, say, my ViewSonic IPS display versus the ViewSonic OLED, huge difference. When I was comparing my computer monitors, upgrading from the Acer Predator IPS to the Alienware OLED, huge difference side by side, right? In this case, it's not as big of a difference as I expected. Yeah, it just goes to show Asus's IPS displays are already really good. The colors and everything are, this is probably one of the best looking IPS displays I've seen. Of course, OLED is still better. But the difference is not as big as I initially thought. But yeah, of course, this has got a great display. The other thing I noticed is that so maybe the unexpected difference is the speakers. So both of these speakers are Harman Kardon speakers, but as you guys have heard, there's a big difference in the speakers here. So for example, it's here, starting from here, I'm gonna mute them both, and then you guys can hear the Zenbook Duo speakers. So again, it's okay. Not bad for a laptop, right? Decent amount of volume, mostly mids. Yep, but then listen to this one. Yeah, soundstage a lot better. Soundstage is way bigger. Deeper bass and richer mids. Yeah, so the speaker system on the Zenbook Pro Duo is a lot better. Yeah, big difference between these two. Yeah, so I mean, big difference in the speakers here. So actually the Asus Zenbook Duo speakers are not too bad. I think actually better than the typical laptop. So yeah, this actually the highs are not that tinny on it. The highs are pretty decent on these. Highs pretty decent on it, but it's still, like, you know, mostly you hear the mids, not too much bass. Whereas on the Zenbook Pro Duo, yeah, you hear much bigger soundstage, deeper bass, richer mids. Yeah, just a pretty big difference in speakers there. They're both Harman Kardon, but the Pro Duo just has better speakers. And one thing I want to add is, just if it's not obvious already, both of these displays are touchscreen displays. They're both 2.8K in resolution. The only difference is that this one is 14.5 inches and then this one is 12.7 inches. But yeah, both OLED, both 2.8K touch displays. So I mean, this is pretty much going to be the main reason why people would pick up this laptop, right? Is to have two touchscreen 2.8K OLED displays. And yeah, they do look gorgeous, that's for sure. Okay, so the features of the secondary display here, you can adjust the brightness individually of the second display independently of the main display, which is cool. This one is the app navigator. So you can choose to put which apps on the main display versus the secondary display. So anyways, that's a pretty cool feature. This one is if you have an app like up here, you can actually just swap it. Like you have an app down here, an app down here, you can just swap one to the main screen, one to the secondary screen. You can also do that with a dedicated key here as well. You can turn on and off the camera. That's something you can also do with the keyboard. You can mute your microphone. Again, something you can do with the keyboard as well. Then you have other apps here: quick key, handwriting, number key, app deals. Those are all things you can, so you can customize it, right? You can add other apps here. So whatever apps you want to put down here, you can put on the second display for quick access. Settings here, so you can, again, there's a control center here, window control, battery saver, help settings, and yeah, basically a lot of things you can do with the secondary display here. It's not really just a gimmick. Like when it first came out, probably a lot of people, including me, thought it was like kind of a gimmick thing, but it's actually kind of useful. So yeah, like give me an example. This keyboard here, right? Again, doesn't have like a palm rest, so that's one disadvantage of using the Asus Zenbook Duo line of laptops, is because of this secondary display. There's no palm rest here, so you kind of just like have to. If you're using this on your lap, you kind of like have to shift up your hand a little bit backwards, so it's not as ergonomic. And this is not as ergonomic either, this touchpad, but that's one of the trade-offs of having a laptop like this. But yeah, you have this one is to disable the touchpad. I don't know why I would disable it, so I just usually need to leave that enabled. Of course, you have your volume and your brightness settings right here. You can adjust your keyboard backlight here. It's got 3 levels. This one right here is for your display. You can either choose to project it, extend it, duplicate it. You can use the main screen only and turn off the second one, or you can use the second screen only and turn off the main one. A few different things you can do. You can mute your microphone here as well. You can turn off your camera here as well. And this one is just like a cutting tool. It's like to capture the screen. This one here, I believe, is launching an Asus specific application. Yeah, it's my Asus application, which I usually don't use. Yeah, but that's for launching my Asus. Everyone knows what print screen does. And then you got 3 other specific, well, you got 2 other. This one's the power button. You got 2 other specific buttons here. So this one is for swapping the app across one screen to the other. This one is for disabling the screen. So you can either hide it or you can turn it off. I just leave it on. I mean, if you buy this laptop, you're going to use the second screen for something, right? Otherwise, why have this laptop? So yeah, the point of it is to use the second display. So what I usually use the second display for is for messaging stuff. So if I have Discord, say you're running a game on the main display here. So right now I have Steam pulled up, and later on, I mean, I will demo gaming on this computer as well. But for now, let's just pretend I have a game running up here, or I have a Steam application running up here, and I still want to keep like Discord or Messenger open. This is what I use to chat with my friends. So yeah, say I have like Messenger or Discord, right, to chat with my friends. I can easily press this button here, which is yeah, this button right here, which is going to put the app down there, and that's the active app right now. So right now I think it's because my Steam app was active. So I would put my Discord here as the active app. Yeah, it should put the Discord. Actually, it puts both those screens. Huh. Alright, well, anyways, I have Messenger here, and I can swap it like this. Yeah, that's for swapping the display. So I can choose to have Messenger down here, my other main apps up there, or I guess reverse it like this. So that's what this button does, is it kind of swaps the display like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I would usually have, you can put them in columns right here, or maximize it, depending on how many apps you're using. So let's see, and there's shortcuts for this. If you drag this, you'll see that there's a 1, 2, and a maximize. If you go to maximize, it'll automatically try to maximize both displays actually. So interesting. So that one puts splits it across both displays if I put the maximize. So yeah, I can either maximize it on the main display, or I can maximize it on the second display, or I can stretch it across both displays like this. So yeah, there's a few different options I can do there. Let's see, I'm just gonna, yeah, I can do it like this. And if I want to have more than one app here, I can do that as well. Although I think it's not that fluid, I think, because the thing is, like, sometimes I might want to have this open to like a specific section of the app, and then here, Discord, it's like, okay, I don't care about the active now part of it. I don't care about the active now part. I'm just going to resize this a bit, and I'm going to move it down here. Okay, and yeah, I'll just have to resize it again. Okay, so there's a little bit of playing around depending on what parts of the app you want to show. But in this case, okay, I want to have Discord and Messenger both open at the same time, and you can do that. And I want to play a game, or have another application, or be surfing the web on my main display right there, and you can do that. So yeah, right now 3 apps open at the same time. My messaging apps both down here, and then my main window up here, whether it be surfing or gaming or whatever. So that I find pretty useful. So I find like this is not really a gimmick thing. If you guys like multitasking, then for those of you guys who buy like a phone like the Samsung Galaxy Fold, for example, right? That's something that you can also multitask on, and there's a decent number of people who buy the phones like that. The Microsoft Surface Duo might be a little bit too much. That's like all about multitasking. Although, yeah, I would say for a laptop, you're gonna probably multitask more than you're on a phone. So this is more useful, right, compared to something like the Microsoft Surface Duo. This is more useful because, yeah, I'm often multitasking when I'm on the computer. I have my Messenger apps down here. I'm always chatting with my friends. But at the same time, I might be surfing the web. I might be watching a YouTube video up here. I might be playing a game. So this way, I can easily focus on my main task, but also not lose track of what I'm getting down here. Now, you could say, hey, but that's what your phone's for, right? Someone messages you, you get on your phone. But the thing is, you'll have to take your eye off of the main display to look at your phone, right? But this, in this, when you have a laptop like this, basically all you need to do is just look down on the display. You don't need to get out your phone or anything. So I find like that just kind of saves a little bit of time. Is that usually, let's you say you're doing something, someone texts you, you know, you had to take out your phone, you had to look at it. With down here, now you have a secondary display where all you have to do is just shift your eyes down here. That's it. That's all you have to do. So yeah, I find that it's more overall better. So anyways, yeah, that's basically in terms of practicality and functionality what I'm using the second display for. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Next, I'm just going to demo how gaming on this device is like. And yeah, this does have an RTX 3050 Ti, which is not the latest GPU or anything. It's not as powerful as the 4000 series. And yeah, it's not the latest GPU or anything. But the 3050 Ti is definitely more powerful than the MX450 that was on my previous Zenbook Duo. So I just wanted to, you know, have a little bit more power on my secondary gaming laptop. So yeah, so for me, the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo is just a straight up, you know, no-brainer upgrade over the Zenbook Duo for me, because it's pretty much the same dimensions, 14-inch display, got similar weight, and the price is really the same too, $1,300, and that's exactly what I paid for my Asus Zenbook Duo when it first came out back in 2021. So I'm not even paying more money. But I am getting a much better display, right? Dual OLED displays, better speakers, as you guys have just heard, more powerful CPU and GPU. So it is just like a strict upgrade for me. So for me, it was just a no-brainer upgrade. If I wanted to get something a bit more powerful, better display, speakers, everything, then it just makes sense to upgrade to the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo. So yeah, pretty much it. Now, yeah, I'm going to play some games on it, and yeah, I'm just going to show you guys the benchmarks, because some of you guys might be curious, how well does games run on this thing? Can you do a lot of good gaming on it? That's one of the reasons why I got this thing too. It's not just for the multitasking dual screens and the OLED display, but it's also for just being a secondary gaming laptop. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'm going to play God of War on this. As you can see, I'm downloading it right now. Yeah, I'm going to test out the how well does it run on this computer. Especially, should be a lot better than the MX450 that comes on my Zenbook Duo anyways. Alright, so now I have God of War running on the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo. So yeah, this is running on 1920 by 1080p resolution, and this display is actually higher resolution than that. That's why it's windowed right now. I have it set to medium graphics quality. So as a benchmark comparison, my Asus Zenbook Duo with the MX450 graphics card, I think that got around 20-ish, a little bit higher than 20, like, you know, 20 to 23 FPS on medium graphics on 1080p. and I don't have any DLSS or none of that extra frame generation stuff. So you're just gonna see what this GPU can actually get on God of War. So this is the RTX 3050 Ti running on the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo on medium settings in God of War. So yeah, let's check out what the FPS is like. Again, my Asus Zenbook Duo with the MX450 gets around, I would say low 20s FPS on the same settings. So yeah, let's take a look here. Comparison, and not gonna pay too much attention to this boss fight. Right now I'm getting about 30 at least. It's taking 30 right now, but I would say it can go up to maybe high 30s sometimes. Yeah. But this is, of course, an action scene, so there's a lot more going on in the scene. But definitely very playable. It doesn't go below 30 at all, so it's definitely very playable. And sometimes goes, yeah, 35, high 30s. So yeah, definitely very, very playable. Never goes below 30 actually. The 30 is like the bare minimum of being playable, right? So I wouldn't say it's like really well. It doesn't run like super well in here, but it's definitely playable.
Get control yourself, boy.
Kill it!
Quick time event.
That's what you get!
Boy.
Think I'm afraid of you!
Yep, so definitely very playable. Nothing goes below 30.
Boy.
Sometimes it goes up to the high 30s, sometimes. But yeah, it generally never goes down below 30. So it's very playable on 3050 Ti, as you would expect.
You are not ready.
And of course, the sound's actually a lot better on this laptop as well.
Are you serious?
Kratos' deep voice.
I found the deer. I proved myself. How am I not ready?
We are going home.
I haven't been sick in a long time. I can do this.
You are not ready.
You are not prepared. Yep, and now this is outside of the action sequence. You'll get
I
about,
am ready.
Do not speak again.
yeah, so it gets about mid 30s here. Mid 30s, high 30s. So yeah, so in the action sequences it dips
The
down
path home is
to
this
about
way.
low 30s. But outside of the action sequences, you get about high 30s. I would say mid to high 30s. So yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, what I expected. I mean, 3050 Ti laptop isn't like a really powerful graphics card, but of course it's better than the MX450. That's an entry-level graphics card. So yeah, so the Asus Zenbook Duo I had before, MX450, only got about like low 20s. So basically not playable on the same settings. This one, the 3050 Ti, yeah, of course you can get at least 30 during heavy combat sequences. And now outside of combat, I'm getting about high 30s. So definitely very playable in the same settings. This is full HD graphics quality on medium quality. So yeah, full HD resolution on medium quality, I mean. So anyways, I would say that this laptop is good for just for playing games on medium settings. I would say if you're going to put playing on 1080p, I'm just talking about full HD resolution, generally most AAA titles will run fine on medium settings. If you plan to go like high or ultra settings, it might not be as playable. Or if you decide to go with a full resolution, which is like 2880 by like 1600 or something like that, this display. I mean, this is a 3K display, so if you do a full resolution on this display, yeah, that's really going to tax the GPU a lot. So generally, I think if I play games on this computer, it's going to be probably on full HD and medium settings is what I would usually put out. Sometimes maybe high settings I think would be fine too. Like if I put on high settings, it's actually going to say, hey, you're using up more VRAM than you have available. But I'll just put on high settings anyways. Yeah. Okay, and it dips down to 30 again, but still very playable. Even on high settings, it dips down to 30. Still pretty playable. Yeah, I would probably play like, yeah, any of the recent AAA titles can all be played medium or high quality, as long as you keep it to 1080. Yeah, if you make it full resolution, and if I do that, that's really going to dip the frame rate down. So if I do yeah, if I decide to go borderless, then it's 2880 by 1800. Okay, that's actually the full display resolution. 2880 by 1800. That's really going to dip the resolution down. And if I do this, yeah, then you can see it's not really playable anymore. It dips down to about mid-20s. Yeah, so now that I put it on to full resolution, dips down to mid-20s. Then I have to turn down the graphics quality to, let's try medium. Okay, is medium still playable? Okay, medium's like barely playable. On yeah, medium's like barely playable on the full resolution, which is like 1800p. So anyways, if you guys choose to go with the full resolution of this display, 1800p, then yeah, I would say low to medium graphics quality settings. And if you go with the full HD, then yeah, you can go up to maybe medium or high. But anyways, I think in either case, most games should be playable with this laptop with the RTX 3050 Ti. It's not like the best graphics card on a laptop, but it's not bad either. It's pretty like mid-range, I would say mid-rangey, but probably at the lower end of the mid-range. But still, yeah, most games should be playable with this graphics card. So yeah, I would just either turn down the resolution or turn down the graphics quality in order to make the games more playable. But yeah, God of War is definitely very playable on this one. And yeah, like, I'm not sure, like, it doesn't do ray tracing, so I don't think so. If you're going to play like Cyberpunk or something like that, yeah, don't expect any ray tracing abilities out of this card, even though it says RTX. Anyways, that's pretty much it. The Asus Zenbook Pro Duo. Yeah, 14. I mean, this is pretty much a strict upgrade over my Asus Zenbook Duo, so definitely a good upgrade for me. I get the OLED display, I got better speakers, I got more powerful GPU and CPU, so those are the main upgrades without really losing anything, actually, because yeah, it weighs roughly about the same, has roughly the same dimensions, and costs about the same price too. So really there was no not much of a drawback to upgrading to this one. Has the same ports as well, so really no drawback to upgrading to this this model for me. So that's it, guys. Let me know you guys have any questions, but yeah, the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo, this is what I'm going to be upgrading to, and yeah, it's probably going to be my secondary gaming laptop from now on, as well as just a really cool laptop for multitasking, right, because of the dual display. So yep, pretty cool laptop. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.